Well, hey there. I'm Kimberly Ferguson, CEO and founder of Emerald Expectations Accounting. I'm so happy that you're here. The Emerald Corner is a place where life and business meet, so I want to share with you the process of running a business while maintaining a life with your loved ones. Today's video is another Tax Tip Tuesday, so for those of you who've been following along, you know what that means, but for those of you who are new here, or this is your first video with me, then Tax Tip Tuesday is where we share tips and tricks and answer your questions about all things tax. So if you have any specific questions that you want me to answer, feel free to leave those in the comments below, and you might see your question in a future video. All right, so today's question is, if I donate a percentage of my profits, can I write it off, right? So this one is pretty simple, pretty straightforward, but with one little twist. So the short answer is yes. So as an individual, your donations are limited to 60%, generally speaking, of your adjusted gross income. So that means that if you made $100,000, then you could technically write off $60,000 in donations, right? Sometimes those limits are a little bit lower though. So it could be 30, 20, 10%. It just depends on the type of entity that you're donating to. So the only caveat here is if you have like an S corporation or a partnership. So those things aren't directly deductible under your business. So they would actually transfer down to the individual level. So if it's just you and you're the only owner, then you'll get to deduct the total amount on your personal tax returns. So it will be transferred to the personal level on what's called a K-1, where they basically report the business income onto your personal tax return, and then you'll be able to deduct it that way. But if there is more than one owner in your company, then obviously you'll split that. If there's two, or you'll break it up between three, however that works for your company. But as long as it's an entity, it'll pull down to the personal level, and then you can deduct it that way. If you are a C corporation though, typically speaking, you're only looking at about a 10% deduction that you can take for those charitable donations, because your income is actually reported at the corporate level instead of pulling it down to the individual level. So it's a little bit different if you have a C corporation, but yes, the short answer is you can deduct those charitable donations. So thank you so much for spending a few minutes of your time with me today. As always, if you have any specific tax questions that you would like me to answer, please drop that in the comments below. I would love to answer that question for you. So thank you so much for spending a few minutes of your time with me today. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will see you in my next video.